Holmes.
Hell yeah, man. Well, listen, I need to pull up my dial pad here, and I need to find a phone number, and I need to be calling Mr. Ryan Stoddard because I don't want to make that gentleman wait. I feel that that's rude, and I want to get my phone dialing and talk to him about his recent event and then some more events that he's got lined up this year for Victory Fighting Championship. You can find more information at victoryfighter.com. That's what I'm looking at right now, checking it out. And fingers crossed that my producer gave me the right number.
Hello?
Good evening, Ryan.
Hi.
Hey, this is Big Perm with Uncensored MMA. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, man, we're alive and kicking. We're rocking and rolling on a Monday night, having a blast.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah, man. Well, listen, before we get going, I wanted to bring in my co-host. I got with me Dave the Butcher Clifford. Dave, you there, bud?
Yeah, welcome to the show, man. We had your bantamweight champion on earlier, and LC Davis, and welcome to the show, sir.
I hope he had all good things to say.
Sure did.
Absolutely, man.
Good stuff.
And that's just really how I wanted to kick this off tonight, man. You just had an event March 30th. We talked to LC about that title fight. You had Houston Alexander, a bunch of great fighters there, man. Just tell us how the event went down for you, from your side of things.
The show was pretty fantastic, from my standpoint. I mean, I'm always looking to improve, but, when you sell out your arena and put 4,800 people in a building and you have 4 UFC vets, a WEC vet, and a Bellator vet, I don't know how much better you can get. So, we're always striving to find ways to become better, and we feel like we've perfected our event in Omaha, and now we're taking it on the road, and we're going to try to do it in other markets.
Well, that's good to have. And one of the things I wanted to say before we ask him that, I guess, is that one of the things that's cool is you've got a good local base of talent.
Oh yeah, man.
Talented athletes.
Omaha's been a hotbed for years. Victory was established in 2002, and I purchased it in 2010, and the amount of guys that fought on that show, before I purchased it was astounding. It was funny. Josh Neer was at the event this weekend, and him and I were chatting, and we were talking about that fight with him and Spencer Fisher, which I think Sheerdog, called one of the best fights you'll never see because there's very limited footage on it. And just fights like that happened back in the day. Jason Brills, was on the event this weekend, and he spoke about how he fought 3 or 4 UFC vets, before he went to the UFC on Victory, and now here he is fighting Josh Bryant, trying to get back to the UFC, and Ryan Jensen, Jake Ellenberger, Joe Ellenberger's 14-1. He's getting ready to probably hop in the UFC here soon. Mirsad Bektik, who's the #1 featherweight prospect in the nation right now, got his start on Victory. So here, Omaha's just a hotbed, but there's other great, markets in the Midwest as well. Wichita, which we're heading into here April 27th at the Intrust Bank Arena. Guys like David the K-Man Rickles, who just won the Bellator lightweight tournament, he's from there. He fought. I don't know how many times, and nobody knew who he was. And look at him now. Kid was on SportsCenter on Thursday night.
Making entrances with dinosaurs and all kinds of craziness.
Yes, sir.
Former guest of the show, David K-Man Rickles.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to talk to, man.
No, Davey's a great guy, and one of his coaches, Joe the Nose Wilk, who is probably headed towards Bellator here real soon too. He's going to headline that inaugural event in Wichita, and Jake the Librarian.
Just looking at that.
Yeah, Jake the Librarian Lindsay, out of that same gym that Dave and Joe are out of. He's 6-0. He's my current lightweight champ. He's probably the best lightweight in the Midwest that you've never heard of. The kid's a monster. And that guy sports that caveman beard too, man. Is that like a trend out of that gym?
I have no idea. It seems to be that, literally, 9 out of the 10 fighters out of that gym all rock big beards. So there must be some in the Kansas water, because I can't even grow a mustache.
Mine comes in all shitty looking too, man. But it's really cool to see this. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I look like the Asian guy from Big Trouble in Little China when mine grows in.
Me too. That's awful. That's the same shit. But like I did it because I'm a ring announcer by trade, right? So I wore a mustache one time, and I grew it out for like 2 months, dude, and it kind of covered the shitty spots, but it still looked like crap. I just rocked it for the hell of it, and everybody just hated it, you know. It was a lot of fun.
Ian McCall, I'm so jealous of his mustache, man. I'd give anything to have something like that.
It's perfect.
No doubt, man.
Ian McCall is taking the seat next to Fry and Severn for the best mustache in MMA.
I know. Good stuff.
Without a doubt.
So yeah, man, Victory's obviously been rolling strong since it started. Now, how much of the name of your organization is attributed to the Cornhuskers and their victories?
None, dude. In fact, I can't do shows in the fall. I can't do shows in the fall because of the Cornhuskers. I mean, if you live in Nebraska, the world lives and breathes and dies by Cornhusker football. I once did an event headlined by Joe Ellenberger, and literally only had 1,500 people show up because it was during during the off week for the Huskers, and everybody plans their weddings around it. Everybody plans vacations around it. I mean, it's impossible to do an event, you know, during the fall, and that's another one of the reasons that I'm looking to expand. You know, is just because, you know, it shortens up my time frame to do shows in Omaha.
Right. I bet it does. But good thing they're no good in basketball, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
My Wolverines, you know, even though I hate them all this season, when they're in the Final Four, I root for them. I'm a Spartan fan myself, but I'm from Michigan up here sitting in my Chevrolet, brother.
I love it.
Well, Ryan, you had mentioned going to Wichita on April 27th, and I know you got a couple of more events lined up, one in June on the 1st, and then another one coming up on the 27th. Are those other two in June and July, are you branching out into other states as well?
Yeah, the June one's actually going to be in Rapid City, South Dakota. I'm really excited about that event. It's about an hour and a half from where I grew up in western Nebraska. So, you know, I get to come out there and you know, show off for all my friends. But,
oh, yeah, like a homecoming. Hell, yeah.
But on top of that, you know, the state of South Dakota MMA is kind of ruffled at the moment. And, you know, I know the governor's not too happy about the fact that they're getting ready to bring in an athletic commission, and you know, I try to run my events as perfect as possible from a commission standpoint, and you know, it's one of those things where I have full intentions of inviting out the governor and some of the state representatives, and you know, I know a couple of the Nebraska inspectors are going to come up and help me out, and we really want to show them before their commission is established July how a legit event should be ran, how it could look, and you know, hopefully we'll pack 3,000-4,000 people in the arena up there, and we can show them what kind of impact an event like mine can make on their economy. So,
man, after that, can you come to Michigan?
There's, you know, unfortunately, there's just me, and I don't think my wife would enjoy that, and I don't think my brain would enjoy that either. So, I'm stretched pretty thin as it is already. You know, we did our event Saturday. I slept for about 6 hours on my couch yesterday, and I'm actually in Manhattan, Kansas right now filming Jake Lindsay and Joe Wilkes media interviews for the April 27th show already today, and headed to Wichita tomorrow to finalize a bunch of things up. So, and then I'm in Rapid.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no better way to demonstrate how to properly run a show than to invite people to it. Now, we've talked to Rob Hines and Sean Wheelock at a great extent several times on the show about legislation and what it means across the nation. How much of this trip to South Dakota is politically motivated to help get things going in the right direction, sir?
A lot of it, you know. I mean, about a year ago in May, to be exact, you know, almost a year to the date of when I'm going to do my show, a young man passed away after he competed, and it was really unfortunate. And the fact of the matter is he had a brain aneurysm. That could happen to anybody. That could happen to, you know, somebody in a high school baseball game or football, basketball game. You know what I mean? It had zero to do with the event itself. It just happened at that moment in time. Well, unfortunately, the promoter didn't have life insurance. There was also not an ambulance or a doctor present. So part of me has to think this kid's life could have been saved had there been an ambulance there, had there been a doctor present.
Could have.
And his family could have benefited, from things had he had a death benefit insurance-wise. And none of that stuff was in place. And at the end of the day, man, when you add all those things together, it costs $1,000. And as a promoter, $1,000 isn't worth somebody's life in my eyes. So I just want to show people how it should be done the right way and make an impact. And at the end of the day, man, I love the sport. I care about the sport. I'm a fan of the sport. That's part of the reason Victory is so successful, is because I look at it from a fan perspective. What would I want to see at an event? And when you do things the right way, it only comes back tenfold, and people enjoy coming to the shows. I mean, I'm building new fans every day here in Omaha based upon the way we make our show look and the atmosphere when you walk into my arena that we're currently in here in Omaha. And I'm just trying to recreate all those same things in different markets and expand.
I'm glad to hear it, because you guys you do put on a great show. You try really hard, and it shows. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever said anything about Victory that hasn't been positive, and your roster of fighters and what they've done after having early success with your organization speaks for itself.
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, this weekend, we had a bunch of, former UFC superstars this weekend, including Houston, and truthfully, man, my undercard was almost better than my top card. We have some of the best up-and-coming amateur fighters in Omaha right now, and, they're all training out of Premier Combat under Ryan Jensen, and, Jensen fought on Victory VFC 1, back in 2002.
Yeah.
VFC 1 to VFC 39, and now he's coaching these guys, and the future of the sport is very bright, and I'm super excited about it. And I think as a promoter and my standpoint right now, with the UFC cutting such great talent, I think this is a golden age for small promotions and the smaller fans, because there's so much free MMA on TV. You want to be able to go experience that atmosphere, experience a great event. And, my most expensive ticket's $60, front row ringside seats, $60. You can't even get nosebleeds for a UFC event. So
not unless you're in the business, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give the fans, the best bang for their buck. And I'm really taking MMA in a different route. I'm not trying to do this on a per event basis. We have plans to sell season tickets for our events in Omaha for our next two events this year, and we're going to try to do some other fun things, and our advertisers couldn't be any happier. They're all seeing a really great return on their investment, and the way I'm trying to approach MMA is running my organization like a semi-pro sporting team. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't have contracted athletes, but that doesn't mean your event can't run the exact same way every single time in different markets. And that's why the UFC is so successful.
Oh, certainly. And the use of hometown talent is something that Bellator kind of snuck up on the UFC and started doing in place of people like King of the Cage that kind of fell off,
Oh, no, exactly. Bellator was able to pick up, they were doing shows there south of Wichita in one of the casinos in Oklahoma, and they used Davey, and all of a sudden here's this kid that's, I think he was like 5-0 at the time, and they had no clue, and they put him on the show to sell some tickets, and all of a sudden, look, they took him from being an absolute nobody in Wichita, Kansas, to being on SportsCenter and winning the Bellator lightweight tournament. I think Bellator's got a lot of great things going for them. The one thing I think that makes their lives and their jobs very difficult is doing 12 shows in 12 weeks. That's just
that is a grind, man.
Yeah, no, and the problem is trying to market your event to the masses locally is very difficult. Television-wise, you set that up for a season, you get people attached, and you get them to watch 12 weeks in a row. That's great, but at the end of the day, you still got to be able to sell tickets, and trying to market your events in 12 different places at the exact same time can't be easy.
Well, talking about
I see them. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, talking about selling tickets and continuing to build the hype, for your upcoming shows. Are there any main events, any secrets that you can leak about these upcoming shows this summer?
I mean, once again, I'm utilizing local talent. I mean, the thing is I get calls all day long for people to try to, here, do you want to sign this fighter? Do you want to sign that fighter? I had an option to pick up Matt Riddle, and I put out my offer, and he chose Legacy. Well, he chose Legacy because they offered him an insane amount of money. I'm never going to overpay for a fighter that doesn't add a value to my show. I think Matthew Riddle's a great fighter, but at the end of the day, how many fans in Omaha are going to pay to come see Matt Riddle fight? If I have a national television deal, it's a totally different thing. So,
Sure.
The big thing is I got to give the fans what they want, and what the fans want are their local homegrown talent.
Well, Matt Riddle doesn't go over too well in the Bible Belt.
No.
I don't really consider Nebraska the Bible Belt.
I don't know. I think Oklahoma and Nebraska, man. I don't know. My one of my baby's mamas just moved to
Dave's
Oklahoma.
From up in Michigan, he's way up north. So Nebraska's the south.
Hey, man, not the South. I'm just saying, nothing wrong with it either. There's a lot of really good people out in that area, dude. Houston came.
We neighbor Colorado, though, and we all know what people in Colorado are doing right this minute.
Oh, you're getting a contact then. I'm smoking right now. I'm medical. We got medical in Michigan, brother.
Good stuff.
Oh, goodness, man.
This is awesome, though. What you ought to do, Perm, you need to get to one of these shows and go cover it so we can interview some fighters. Let's set up some, let's stay in touch, man. Let's help you promote to our listeners because we really like what you're doing and we're happy to be in contact.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, for sure. Well, the next goal is truthfully to find a TV network that believes in what we're doing and tries to pick us up and to continue to push forward because I do think there are a lot of fans in the area that would have liked to have tuned in to see our event this weekend. I mean, unfortunately, LC Davis didn't fight Ryan Roberts like he was supposed to, and I think that was, probably one of the best fights I've ever put together since I've been a promoter. And, I used to matchmake for Titan in last year. So for me to put that kind of fight together, who doesn't want to watch that? You know what I mean? And Ryan Jensen, Rudy Bears was a blast. And truthfully, man, Josh Bryant versus Jason Brills, that belongs in the UFC. The fact that I was able to get that fight and put it together it's a big statement about what victory is and what we can do. So hopefully we can put some pressure on Access to pick up another Midwest show. I know they already got RFA, and I hear there's some other things in the works for some other shows, but hopefully we can put some pressure on them to pick us up so the rest of the Midwest or the rest of the nation can see what the 4,800 fans in Omaha got to see Saturday night. Yeah,
that's really cool, and I don't think it's very long because there's a real before I close it up with the bell there's a real demand for what you're doing, and we appreciate it. And when you do it right, eventually it's going to happen. So one of the things I'd like to do, since you're a matchmaker, and that bell says we got about 2 minutes left, and before I let Big Perm let you get some websites out and ticket information, I want to ask a fun question and say, if you were making up a tag team MMA match with open weight, who would you put against each other?
Open weight tag team match in all of MMA?
Yep.
Oh boy. That's a tough
one. Take your time.
I'm gonna go with Ben Askren and Bjorn Renby versus Dana White and GSP.
Hell yeah, man! That's the first time we've had CEOs involved.
Holy shit! You make it a 6-man tag with Mark Pavlich and Mpumba.
Yeah, Mark wouldn't want to mess up his hair though.
For his teeth.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. This is the best interview with a CEO ever, dude. Thanks, man. This is cool.
Oh,
go ahead, Big Perm.
Absolutely, dude.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Listen, the last few seconds that we have with you, the last minute or so, I just like to give you the time to tell our listeners how they can, follow along, follow Victory Fighting Championships and stay in touch and, catch up with your cards and what you got going on.
Yeah, they can follow us on our Facebook page, Victory Fighting Championships. I personally run my Facebook page, so I like to make sure it's very fan interactive, and we're constantly posting cool stuff on there all day long. Plus, I'd like to think that I have, like, the hottest ring girls in the world. I would appreciate it if you guys go to Facebook right now and check those girls out, because they are definitely fantastic. And they can check out some of our old fights on our YouTube page, youtube.com/victoryfighter, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/victoryfighting. And once again, our website.
Check out them ring girls.
our website's victoryfighter.com.
Hell yes. Well, Ryan, once again, we all want to say thank you very much for taking the time tonight, and we wish you best of luck this summer with everything you got rocking and rolling. And we hope to talk to you again very soon, man. It's been a blast.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, you're quite welcome, man. You take care and have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Later. All right, gang. And a chat with Mr. Ryan Stoddard, owner of Victory Fighting Championship. We just earlier talked in the evening with L.C. Davis. He just won their bantamweight title. Dude, what a fun guy to talk to, man. That was a blast.
Yeah, sounds like a cool person to work for. I should have told him if his announcer ever gets sick to give me a holler.
Well, hey, man, and they're coming your way, South Dakota. I mean, it's kind of close to you.
I'll drive anywhere, man.